Hi guys, this is Tox from Crits Happen, and I'm here with a special walkthrough. We're going to look at Summoner Wars, which just came out today on July 4th, Independence Day here in America. A lot of people have been waiting for this for quite some time. Playdek is the developer who has also done Ascension and Food Fight and Nightfall. Absolutely amazing games, very great applications to play on your iPad or iPhone or iPod or whatever. But we're going to take a walkthrough on this, and what I'm actually going to do is walk you through the tutorial. I think it's a good way for new players to check it out. I think it's a good way for experienced players to see how the mechanics work, and we hope you like it. Let's take a look at it. So for anyone who doesn't know, Summoner Wars is a card game that's been out for a little while from Plaid Games. It can feel like a minis game at times because you're playing with these cards moving around a board. You're attacking with characters onto other characters, but we'll just go ahead and walk through this. I'll read through the things as they come up on the screen. I'm sorry I don't have a really fancy schmancy way of recording the iPad, so this is just my camera looking at the iPad, but I think it'll be good enough quality for everyone to see. So when you first come in, this is what you see. You have offline and online mode, a menu, and then an in-app store. So everyone understands that the app is free. And then you have to pay for factions that you want to buy. There is a nice bundle for $8. You can get everything. It's really good. I highly recommend it. That's what I did. But let's go ahead and walk through. So if you go to menu, you can then go through rulebooks, card galleries, deck builders, or what we're going to do today, which is tutorial. So in the tutorial, immediately launches you right in. You see how vibrant and colorful and bright everything is. It says, in Summoner Wars, you'll be playing the role of a summoner. You've been endowed by a summoning stone with the ability to call forth mighty warriors and cast powerful spells to aid you in a battle against an opposing summoner. Tap to continue. That obviously is your first summoning power, the ability to tap. The object of the game is to destroy your opponent's summoner card. When you are the player with your summoner card left in play, you win. Double tap the highlighted card at the bottom of the battlefield map. That's right here. Now, if there's anything I can say just to start off with, and you can may be able to see this, may not. When you're looking at this just with the naked eye, it doesn't always immediately jump out at you that this is what's highlighted. But anyway, we'll go ahead and double tap on this. This is your summoner card. If it gets destroyed, you lose the game. Single tap a zoomed card to exit the zoom. Double tap the highlighted card at the top of the battlefield map. This is your opponent's summoner card. To achieve victory, you must destroy your opponent's summoner. And you can see, looking over the course of the summoner, and I'll show you this in a second, there's a lot of highly detailed information. One of the things that I really like is the backgrounds are moving, both up here and over here. Really nice look to that. So here's the anatomy of a card. Each card shows the card name, the unit type, attack value, summon cost, range symbol, life points, and special abilities. So just as a quick run through, the attack value is the big number with the shield, the summon cost is the first flag, the range symbol is the second flag, the name and unit type is across the top, the life points are what is visible, so there's 9 total boxes here, but only one of them are visible, so this guy has 1 life. And then a special ability, which for this one is Far Shot. When attacking with an archer, you may attack cards that are up to 4 clear straight line spaces away. The highlighted cards are all unit cards. Throughout the game, you will be moving your unit cards around the battlefield map and attacking with them. You can zoom the battlefield map in and out by double tapping on an empty space. The player who goes first must skip the first 3 phases of the turn sequence. We will begin the tutorial with your opponent going first. And something I haven't gotten into yet, but they'll show you in a second, is down here along the right hand side you see all of the phases. And the first thing that I noticed, if you're familiar with the game, is I looked at, where is the beginning of turn and end of turn phases? Well, we'll see as we go along. That went really quick, didn't it? Your opponent has just taken their first turn of the game. A turn in Summoner Wars takes place over 6 main phases. The 6 main turn phases are draw, summon, event, movement, attack, and build magic. Notice your summoner avatar in the lower left-hand corner of the screen. It's glowing. A player's summoner avatar will glow when it is their turn. The first phase is the draw phase. In the draw phase, cards will be drawn from your draw pile until you have 5 cards placed in your hand. The bottom left corner of the screen is the player area and shows your summoner avatar and card pile indicators. From left to right, the elements are your hand indicator, your summoner avatar, your magic pile, your draw pile, and your discard pile. So, magic, draw, discard. The cards drawn into your hand will be shown in the hand tray on the left edge of the screen, which is right here. You can tap your hand indicator to toggle the ability of the hand tray. The number on the hand indicator shows the number of cards in your hand. At the right side of the screen is the turn phase indicator. This will show the current phase of the turn and the number of moves or attacks remaining. It currently shows we are in the summon phase, which is a little lightning bolt. To summon cards into battle, you'll need to have magic points to spend. You don't have any points in your magic pile yet, so you'll not be able to summon any new units to the battlefield. We'll go over summoning later. At the bottom right of the screen is the End Phase button. You can tap this button when you want to end your current phase and move to the next phase. Tap the End Phase button to end this summon phase and continue to the end phase. You'll notice a little green button right over here saying End Phase. It is now the Event Phase. Event cards don't go into battle, but instead represent special instances such as spellcasting. You have 2 playable event cards in your hand. Isn't that nice? Let's play an event card. The Burn event inflicts 1 wound on any common or champion unit. To play the Burn card, you must drag it onto the unit you want it to affect. We will highlight the cards we want you to interact with during this tutorial. Drag Burn onto the defender adjacent to the Guild Dwarf wall. And this is one of the things I really like. If you've never played this game before, this tutorial does a really good job of kind of walking you through and holding your hand as you go along. So we will go ahead and drag this over, and you'll notice as I'm dragging this around, this dwarf right here is highlighted. So it shows me if I go like this, it doesn't really let me do it. So it's forcing me to come over here and burn that guy. Boom. Notice the defender just received 1 wound. That's shown by the X over that open dot right there. The defender has 2 life points. If you equal or exceed the number of life points on the card with wound markers, you destroy that card. Wall cards are also considered event cards. To play a wall, you can drag it onto any empty space on your side of the battlefield. Drag the wall onto the highlighted map location. And again, I can't play it anywhere I want. It's forcing me to play it right here. If you're very familiar with the game, that may annoy you during the tutorial while you're checking it out, but for anyone new, I think it's a really good way to do it. You have no other event cards that you can play right now. Tap to end the End Phase button to advance to the movement phase. It is now the movement phase. You may move any 3 of your units by dragging them across the battlefield, and you'll notice that over here there's a 3 on the movement phase button. Once you begin to drag a unit during the movement phase, all the spaces that unit can move will be highlighted. Tap to continue. Normally you can move to any highlighted position. We will show you where to move cards for this tutorial. So again, walking you through handheld by handheld step. To move a card, touch the card and drag it onto the location you wish to move to. For your first move, move your warrior behind your wall. You'll notice as I move, it shows steps, which is kind of nice. And just because I stop and drag and move over doesn't mean I move. I then have to click the check button to confirm that that's where I want to go. For your second move, move your rightmost archer up 1 space. And again, just dragging and dropping doesn't do it. Have to check it. The phase indicator on the right shows we have 1 move remaining. For your last move, move your other archer up and to the right 1 space. In Summoner Wars, almost every move is straight line, not diagonal. With 0 moves remaining, notice that the End Phase button is glowing green. This means that there's nothing left that you can do this phase, and you should tap the End Phase button to move the attack phase. It also shows 0 for your moves left. It is now the attack phase. The phase indicator shows we have 3 attacks remaining, similar to 3 moves. Now, one thing to note, it doesn't have to be the same 3 people. Cards with a sword icon on them can only attack adjacent cards, because that's how far your sword reaches. But a card with a bow icon can attack up to 3 clear straight spaces away. For this part of the tutorial, we'll have you attack with specific units. All units have a special ability, which alters the rules of the game. There are active and passive special abilities. Active abilities may be used, and passive abilities are automatically in effect. Let's attack with one of your archers. Archers have a special ability called Far Shot, which allows a unit to attack 4 spaces away instead of just 3. Once you begin to drag a unit during the attack phase, all the cards that a unit can attack will be highlighted. Drag the archer onto the spearman to target it for the attack. Now you'll notice when I pick it up, it only lets me attack him because again it's in a straight line away. This would be diagonal, this would be diagonal, and the straight line over here would just be my wall, and I just wouldn't do that. Boom. Attacks are resolved with dice rolls. The number of dice rolled is determined by the attacking card's attack value, which again, remember, was that number by the shield, in this case, 1. Rolling a 2 or lower is a miss, and a 3 or higher is a hit. In our case, we rolled a hit. We rolled a 4. For every hit result rolled, 1 wound marker is added to the targeted card. If you equal or exceed the number of life points on the card, you destroy that card. Now you'll notice that that card came to my side, not my opponent's side. Destroyed cards go to your magic pile, giving you more magic points for summoning cards into battle. Notice your number of magic points has increased after destroying the spearman. We've gone from 0 to 1. Now use your second archer to attack your opponent's defender. Our roll missed. We rolled a 2. At this point, you have units that are highlighted in yellow. There are units that can still attack, but that can only attack your units. There is no benefit in attacking your own units right now, so we will move on to the build magic phase. You'll notice I still have 1 attack left if I wanted to, but like it says, I'm not going to attack my own units. Maybe in the future there are cards that will help me with that, but we shall see. The final phase of the turn is build magic. During this phase you can discard any number of cards from your hand to your magic pile to gain more magic points. Discarding also empties your hand so you can draw more cards. Either is good. Once you run out of cards from your draw pile, though, you will have to finish the game with what you already have on the battlefield and any cards in your hand. Let's discard a common unit to gain an additional magic. Drag the highlighted card into your magic pile. Notice that the number of magic points have increased again. Let's discard another card for magic. Drag the highlighted card onto your magic pile. That is all the cards we want to place in your magic pile right now, so tap the End Phase button. Notice that a new phase symbol has appeared. Back to my original comment, where's the beginning and end of turn phases? The symbol shows up when there's something you can do at the end of your turn. In this case, your warriors have the Blaze Step ability, which can be triggered. Notice the glow around the character on the warrior card. That indicates that the unit has a special ability you can choose to activate. Now, again, this may show up really good in the video, but if I wasn't looking for that, like immediately, I never would have seen that. It's really subtle at first. Once you play the game a couple of times, you do get used to it. I think it's just a habitual memory thing. But at first, it wasn't as predominant of a glow as I would have liked it to have been. In the case of Blaze Step, drag the special ability target from the glowing side of the card to a space adjacent to a wall. Drag it to the highlighted location. Now, just so everyone understands, I'm going to zoom in here. Blaze Step says at the end of your turn, you may place this warrior adjacent to a wall that you control. So we'll click on our warrior and get the special ability icon and drag and drop above the wall. Now, different than movement, with movement you drag, drop, and then check it to confirm it. This actually you drag and drop and that's where you go. There's nothing left to do on your turn, so the game has moved on to your opponent's turn. You'll notice that it goes right through each one of their movements all the way down the line. Your opponent has moved his units to set up for his attack. Oh no! Notice the engineer rolled 3 dice when he attacked the wall, even though his attack value is only 1. This is because of the structural analysis special ability he has. Since all 3 rolls were hits, our wall takes 3 wounds. You'll notice that it says structural analysis. When the engineer attacks a wall, its attack value is increased by 2. Your opponent attacks your warrior with his defender, destroying it, so your opponent adds your warrior to his magic pile. Bye-bye, warrior. For his last attack, your opponent's defender attacks and destroys your archer. Your opponent adds your archer to his magic pile. Your opponent's attack phase has ended, and he has discarded all 5 cards from his hand. During his build magic phase, notice your opponent's number of magic points is now 7. We are now at the second turn of the game. For the draw phase, the computer has drawn 4 cards into your hand to bring it up to 5 cards and moved on to your summon phase. That just cracked me up. It's not my computer. In fact, for all intents and purposes, it's on iOS devices. It's not on a computer. It's on an iPad, an iPod, or an iPhone. That just made me laugh. During the summon phase, you may bring new units onto the battlefield. Each unit, except for summoners, have a summon cost printed on the card. This is the number of magic points that will be moved from your magic pile into your discard pile when you put the unit on the battlefield. You are spending magical power to summon the units to the battlefield. When you drag a unit you are summoning onto the battlefield, all the spots where you can place the unit will be highlighted. This is normally only empty spaces next to a wall you control. Drag the highlighted warrior from your hand onto the highlighted space. Again, a little hard to see, but none of these work, only this one will work. You have summoned a warrior, and 1 point was discarded from your magic pile to pay its summon cost. You may summon as many units as you have enough magic points to spend on them, and valid summoning space is 4. We will only summon 1 card for right now. It is your event phase again, and you have a great event card to use. You have fewer units on the battlefield than your opponent, so Magic Drain will take 2 magic points from your opponent and give them to you. Drag Magic Drain onto the battlefield to play it. This says, if you have fewer units on the battlefield, 2 cards are moved from your opponent's magic pile to yours. Now I could choose to play event, or I could just drag it out and drop it anywhere I want, and thus 2 cards come to my magic pile. There is another event card you could play, but we'll choose not to play it at this time. We are in the movement phase again. Notice there are icons on your units that are adjacent to the Guild Dwarf Defenders. You cannot move these units. The icon is there to indicate this. That little icon right there gets added. The reason the units cannot move is because of the defender's Engage ability. When special abilities such as Engage affect other cards in some way, an icon will show up on the affected card. So this says Engage. When an enemy unit is adjacent to this defender, the unit cannot be moved. Oh, sorry. I went through it a little fast. Sorry about that. Let's move to Prince Elian to the right 1 space to set up an attack with his special ability. Drag Prince Elian there now. This is the only move we will make. Tap the end phase button to continue to the attack. We are now at your attack phase again, and you notice that Prince Elian has a glow around the character on the card. This is because his special ability can be activated. Now in this case, it was much more clear. It was red and bright and everything was good. Let's attack an engineer with a fire blast from Prince Elian. Drag Prince Elian from the glowing character area onto the engineer. The Fire Blast special ability automatically deals wounds without a dice roll. As a result, the engineer was defeated and was taken as a magical point. Let's attack with a warrior. Drag your attack icon from your warrior to your opponent's defender. You scored 2 hits, destroyed the defender, and took it as a magic point. Let's attack another defender with your archer. Drag the archer onto the defender to attack. You rolled a hit and deal 1 damage to the defender. The number of attacks remaining is now 0. Now we move on to the build magic phase. Drag the highlighted card to your magic pile for 7 total magic points. Now tap the end phase button and end your build magic phase. We could use Blaze Step now since it is the end of your turn, but we'll choose not to. Our opponent goes, and he starts summoning characters to the battlefield. Now also I have this on the slowest animation speed just to be able to catch everything possible on the video. In his summon phase, your opponent summons an engineer, a defender, and a spearman onto the battlefield. Choose a champion from your draw pile and put it into your hand. Baldar comes in. Heroic feat. Your opponent has played a Heroes Born event to move the champion Baldar from his draw pile to his hand. He then played Heroic Feat event on his defender, boosting its attack value for the turn. Notice that the Heroic Feat icon appears on the defender. Little icon right there. He's now moving. Your opponent has moved his 3 units and is ready to make his attacks. For his first attack of his turn, your opponent's spearman attacks and rolls 2 hits on your guardian. The engineer attacks and destroys your warrior. For his last attack, your opponent's defender with the heroic feat icon attacks and scores a hit on your summoner. Your opponent has finished with his attacks, skipped his building magic, and now we can move on to the next turn. Now that we have enough magic, let's summon our first champion. Drag Casil onto the highlighted location. Again, very much forcing me in a certain line. Casil is the only card we will summon this turn. Tap the end phase button to end your phase. Let's go ahead and play Spirit of the Phoenix to give our archer the precise ability. Drag Spirit of the Phoenix onto your archer. Choose a Phoenix Elf unit that you control. The chosen unit receives the following ability until the end of the turn. Precise. When this Phoenix Elf unit attacks a unit, no dice are rolled. Instead, the Phoenix Elf inflicts a number of wounds equal to the number of dice that would have been rolled. So it almost, essentially, turns everything into a hit. Spirit of the Phoenix is the only event card we will play. Tap the end phase button to continue. It is now your movement phase. Move your archer left 2 spaces. That is all the units we will move this turn. Tap the end phase button to continue. For your first attack, use your archers with the Spirit of Phoenix ability to attack and wound the defender. Drag your archer onto the defender now. For your second attack, use Prince Elian's Fire Blast ability to destroy the defender beside him. Drag Prince Elian's highlighted character onto the defender. For your last attack, target the engineer with Casil. Drag Casil onto the engineer now. You roll missed. End your attack phase and build some magic. Drag and discard your warriors to your magic pile. Now, tap the end phase button to end your build magic phase. Your opponent has summoned the champion Baldar. Shocker! He just drew that. Your opponent summoned the champion Baldar. And a wall's coming out. For its event phase, your opponent has placed a wall onto the battlefield. We are now in your opponent's attack phase. For his first attack, his engineer attacks Casil and inflicts a wound. On his second attack, your opponent targets your archer but misses. It's your turn again, but a new phase indicator has shown up. This is the phase for things that happen at the beginning of your turn, so the plus starting your turn. Notice that Casil is glowing because her special ability can be activated. Drag the special ability target from her glowing character onto the engineer to take control of it with Casil's Blazing Conscription ability. It says Blazing Conscription. At the beginning of your turn, you may choose a common or champion unit that is adjacent to Casil. You gain control of the chosen unit until the end of the turn. The engineer has been rotated to show that he is now under your control. That's one of the cooler things I like. You will lose control of him at the end of your turn. Your cards have been drawn for you, and it's your summon phase. We'll let you take over the game from here. Remember that you control your opponent's engineer during this turn, which means you can move and attack with him. You will encounter many different special abilities when combating the various factions. Remember to keep your eyes open for glowing characters. I can't stress that enough. Keep your eyes open for glowing characters, indicating that a special ability can be activated. Some special abilities will always be active and will automatically activate under certain conditions. Use your special abilities wisely to get an edge over your opponent. And that's the end of the tutorial. From there, it is up to you what you will play and how you will finish the game. So that's Summoner Wars. We hope this video has helped you get a better look at the app, the mechanics behind it, some of the things that Playdek has done in transitioning it from the tabletop to the iOS devices. If you're a fan of this on the tabletop, I think you'll be a fan of it on the iOS devices. If you're a new player, it's a great way to jump in for a minimal price. Again, there's that bundle for $7.99 where you can buy everything that's available right now, which is what I did. It's a great looking game. If there's anything I could probably say about it, I just wish that the glows were a little more predominant. And I wish that when you dropped a special ability on somebody, you had that same checkbox or that same check off as you do with moving your characters. Other than that, if those are the only complaints, Playdek has once again hit a home run in my opinion. They do a really good job porting things over onto the iPad. They did it for Nightfall, they did it for Ascension, they did it for Food Fight, which has not gotten a lot of publicity, but is also out there as well from Cryptozoic. But overall, great combination of a tabletop game and an iOS device here from Playdek around Plaid Hat Games Summoner Wars. We hope you liked the video, and we hope to help you get a little more of a glimpse inside the application. Feel free to give us your thoughts here and leave comments on the blog. You can go to critshappen.com, you can go to facebook.com/critshappen, or you can go to twitter.com/critshappen. Thanks again for all your support. We appreciate you watching the videos and leaving your comments and being a fan. Enjoy Summoner Wars. Until next time, this is Tox. Take care.